Good afternoon, YouTube. So, I know that I posted a not too long ago, but I said that I would do a series on the Watchtower organization and Jehovah's Witnesses, and that is what I'm going to do. So this is part 2. And what I've decided to do is cover a little bit of the history that I've been researching. Later on, I'll post the links to all of the videos and sources that I've been using on the sidebar under more info. But I found some interesting stuff. And someone once claimed that it was rooted in 607 BC when Jerusalem fell to the Babylonians. But then I looked a little, more closely and came to a name of Charles Taze Russell, who, proclaimed Earth's time of end in 1799. He said that the world would end in 1914 for sure. And of course, that never happened, so it was postponed until 1915, and then 1918 after Russell died in 1916, so if that makes any sense. Basically, he died in 1916, but somebody else took over and postponed it again until 1918. Obviously, that didn't happen either. So after that, it was postponed until 1925, and Joseph Franklin Rutherford was involved in that one. He was a self-proclaimed judge. He was a lawyer, and he started the Millions campaign in 1918, where basically a bunch of people were trying to spread the word as to the end of the world and handing out pamphlets, books, etc., trying to convert everybody over to their religion. 1929, Rutherford built Beth Sarim, whom actually most Jehovah's Witnesses today have not heard of that particular mansion. He lived there until he died in 1932. And the reason why most people haven't heard of that mansion is because, number one, he was living it up, living the great life during the Depression in that mansion during the time, which of course that would not look good to the masses. And number two, after he died, it was sold, like I said, again in 1948 by Jehovah's Witnesses because of the embarrassment of his false prophecy and the fact that the world, of course, had not yet ended. The governing body, I found out, is an elite committee of Jehovah's Witnesses elders, basically. And they're the ones that dish out all the rules. It's really, from what I hear, it's run like a dictatorship. Everyone has to follow these rules. They pass policies. A lot of times they don't even pertain to the Bible. They just write them out the way that they want to, and people have to follow them. If you don't, you're excommunicated or disfellowshipped, and that's that. Raymond Franz, very interesting guy, wrote a book called Crisis of Conscience. You guys should check it out. It's pretty cool. He's a former member of the governing body. He was for 9 of the 60 years that he was a Jehovah's Witness. And he quit that organization for a bunch of different reasons. But he described these meetings as being very disillusioned. And the Bible was rarely used as a form of authority or a tool for writing policy. Policy took precedence over Scripture, essentially. So it really looks like corrupt politics to me. That's how this is run. Anyway, Dr. J.R. Manti was an eminent Greek scholar. Many Greek scholars were misquoted in a lot of the books that Watchtower wrote, basically, or Jehovah's Witnesses wrote. He was misquoted as supporting Watchtower organization. He actually said in an interview that he doesn't endorse them. He thinks that the Bible is terribly misquoted. It has no basis in their writings whatsoever, way far off from the original. So I found that to be kind of interesting. The Watchtower has turned to the occult in the past. It has, basically a record of using occult practices. And an example of that was Johannes Grieber, who wrote a version of the New Testament while relying on spirit messengers in order to get his information. So he was a spiritualist, and he used his wife as a medium in order to obtain his information. Doesn't that sound kind of fishy and contradictory? I think so. Let's see. The governing body has readjusted Watchtower's doctrines countless times since 1914. So if something doesn't quite fit, they don't even go to the Bible most of the time. They just flip the policy, and that's it. Let's see. A couple of other interesting things. Jehovah's Witnesses hold the cross in contempt because they see it as a pagan symbol. Not sure why that is. They claim that Jesus was instead put on an upright stake, which seems a little odd to me. They claim that Jesus was actually the Archangel Michael, and that he had basically evaluated all religions on earth and decided that Jehovah's Witnesses had it right. They were the chosen people, yada, yada, yada. Kind of weird. Jesus will always, according to these people, be invisible and can only be seen by 144,000 select Jehovah's Witnesses who rule from heaven. They are referred to as the anointed ones, FYI. Everyone else is referred to, and I love this, everyone else is referred to as the other sheep. Sheep. Great. That's flattering. Jehovah's Witnesses must go to 5 hours of meetings per week, do many hours of field service, going door to door and annoying the shit out of people. And they must fill out a time card to remain noted members within their congregation. So I don't know if that's still the way it is now, but that's the way it has been for years and years and years. So, just so you know. Dr. Jerry Bergman was a former Jehovah's Witness and a licensed psychologist, and he was the one that said that many former Jehovah's Witnesses suffer from severe emotional problems due to isolation and alienation, which I am not a bit surprised by. He has said that they suffer from schizophrenia, depression, and other problems more than the average person, as suggested in literature. So you can actually find literature on this stuff. Today, the governing body flat out denies attempts to predict Armageddon. Interesting. And they prohibit, reading anything that could contradict that particular concept. And those who do are often excommunicated or disfellowshipped or whatever. So I find it real interesting how the construction of this organization oddly resembles a cult. That's just me. But I will be doing more videos on this. I'm going to delve more into the social aspects in the future, you know, what it's like for former members and why they do what they do, etc., etc. So keep watching the videos, leave comments. I love, you know, discussing these topics with you guys. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.